I'm feeling a little nostalgic today, and I tried something different. I braided my hair, and...
You're slapping me? What are you slapping me for?
Come on, focus.
Man, you be on your phone all the time.
I'm talking about...
Hey, guys, I want you to go back and look at a couple of episodes where she be on the phone, be talking to people.
I'm not talking to people. I'm reading from my stuff. That's what my phone is for.
That's what I was doing. I was reading from my stuff.
Were you?
Yes. What are we talking about?
I think we need to start over.
No, keep going.
No, you were unfocused.
I was focused. I was tuned in. I was listening. We were good.
You were tuned in?
Mm-hmm.
To what radio station?
Coming to you from 125 Carver in Waco, Texas, it's the Riverside Weekly. We hope your time with us today is thought-provoking, spiritually challenging, and a life-changing experience. Our discussions are fun, real, and at times very uncomfortable. We highly encourage all of our guests and listeners to like and subscribe, and please ring the bell. Now, here are your hosts, Pastor Cello and Pastor Mia.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wednesday. I don't have that one. I only have this one. Felt like I was at a golfing tournament.
Hilarious.
We were somewhere for a birthday party, and we could hear clapping in the background, and I thought to myself, what is that? And I was like, I know that sound. I usually take a Sunday nap to that sound. What? It's golf.
It was golf? Is
Yeah,
what you said?
yeah. And my niece was like, how did you know that, Aunt Carla? I was like, you just know. When you know, you know. That's what people say all the time. What were you eating? Can you stop that? Stop.
I was eating a Snickers. Getting ready to fill up candies.
I know, for Easter.
Getting ready to stuff
Fill
our
eggs.
Fill eggs with candies. And as I was walking by the pile of eggs and candies, it said, "Eat me."
This is what it said right here. Right here. Hold on. Where's the one? Right here. Oh, no, not that. Maybe? This one? No. Where's the other one? That one?
No, it said, "Eat me."
Let me see. It said this one. No. Where is it?
I don't know what you're looking for.
No, I can't find it. It's the whistle. You see it? No, I just said it wasn't
that wasn't it.
That one. Try that one. Ah, that's what that candy told you.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the podcast, everybody. It's Wednesday, and we are so glad to be back with you. I'm feeling a little nostalgic today, and I tried something different. I braided my hair, and...
You're slapping me? What are you slapping me for?
Come on, focus.
Man, you be on your phone all the time.
I'm talking about...
Hey, guys, I want you to go back and look at a couple of episodes where she be on the phone, be talking to people.
I'm not talking to people. I'm reading from my stuff. That's what my phone is for.
That's what I was doing. I was reading from my stuff.
Were you?
Yes. What are we talking about?
I think we need to start over.
No, keep going.
No, you were unfocused.
I was focused. I was tuned in. I was listening. We were good.
You were tuned in?
Mm-hmm.
To what radio station?
Riverside Weekly radio station. I'm sorry, the Treasury. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Riverside Radio, the Treasury.
And we're back. Okay.
Season 1 is out right now.
Anyway, so I was just going to say, I don't even know what I was going to say anymore because you sidetracked me.
Because you slapped me.
Maybe we should make this whole podcast about being slapped. Anyway, but I was just saying that Today we're going to talk about something that we've been talking about for a long time, because really that has to do with you being on your phone.
Ooh.
Yeah, we've been talking, well, I have been saying, I was talking about my hair and how nostalgic I felt. See, brought me back when I started talking about what we were going to talk about today. I wasn't going to talk about my hair, but my Indian roots came out because I braided my hair because I have on the Indian shirt. So it just made me feel nostalgic.
I have the Riverside shirt.
Okay. Okay. Anyway. So, what we're going to talk about today is just doing what you're good at. I have been mentioning that to you, and I said you need to stick to what you're good at. And really, what you are doing is one of the things that you're good at. You're very good at social media. You're very good at creating things. You're very good at your putting together, that you put all your things together. And what I said this week before I said I wanted to talk about that was, people say they're good at things, but they're really not good at that thing. They should stick to being good at what you're good at, not what you think you're good at.
Well, I think you, I don't want to say you misquoted that, but
Yeah, I did.
I think people do what they think they're good at. They don't
Okay.
say that they're good at these things, so they do what they think that they're good at.
So I have one. I have it. This is one. It says, if you're really good at something, you won't have to tell people. They'll tell you.
Exactly. And exactly that right there that's it right there. We're done.
That can't be the whole podcast. However, I find it funny, hilariously funny, that a year ago I posted this, and this was actually a devotional, and it was 3 years ago. This is what I did 3 years ago. So it was a time hop from a year ago, but it had been 3 years prior. So this is 4 years old, okay? And it is a devotional on Solomon, and it said, how did Solomon gain so much fame? Isn't that good? And it said he focused on what he did best. Leaders would be wise to follow a similar pattern called the 70-25-5 principle. Have you ever heard of this? Mm-hmm. So give 70% of your time to the areas that you're strong in. Give 25% of your time to the areas you want to improve in. And give 5% of your time to the areas that you're weak in.
I've heard it 2%, but yeah.
Thank you.
No, and that's
Thank you,
see, a lot
devotionals.
of times what we do is we get focused on the areas that we're weak in, and we try to focus on working on those. And the hardest thing to do is to change yourself. Mm-hmm. And so
But you're supposed to. You're the only one that can.
You're right. But a lot of times we get so focused on changing something that's difficult for us to change, such as our personality, bad habits, good habits, habits in general. And so we focus on those things. But going back to what you mentioned about, we do things that we focus on things that we're okay at or that we want to do, and instead of just doing what we're good at, right? And so I believe that, everybody's created with a purpose. Everybody's created with gifts and talents, passions. These are gifts. These are talents that we were given by God. Whether you believe it or not, that's what I believe. And so a lot of times what we do is we see what somebody else does good, and then we want to do it.
Yes.
I posted that on social media a couple of weeks ago. Like what we do, we see what somebody else posts. We see what somebody else shares, what they're doing, whether it's creative, whether it's photography, whether it's art, drawing, sewing. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. We see them do that, and we're like, I want to do that. And so then we try to do it, and we get frustrated with ourselves because we're not any good at it.
Right.
And I think that we're at a place right now in our social climate right now, especially with social media, is that everybody wants to be a creative.
Okay.
But not everybody flows in creativity. Or let me rephrase that. Not everybody has the same type of creativity. So going back to what we talked about how Solomon gets so wise, he was doing what he was best at, right? To be a good leader means you have to be creative at leading.
Okay.
Right? So to be a good manager, you have to be creative at managing. To be a good follower, you have to be creative at following. right? It's not just about artistry. It's not just about being able to write a good poem or a good rap, or it's not good about playing an instrument. And that's what we've been programmed. Like, if you're not doing these things, then you're not creative. And that's not necessarily true. So the thing is that we may be good at communication, so we should be communicating. I mean, it talks about this in the scriptures, like in Corinthians. Like, it's like some of us are eyes, some of us are ears, some of us are feet, some of us are hands,
Some of us are pinky toes.
some of us are pinky toes, some of us are pancreases, right? Some of us are the ears where the eggs works. I like what your cousin says. She's the nose hair,
Oh, yeah.
makes you itch. And
Cilia. It's
right.
called cilia.
So when you look at doing what you're best at, a lot of times what we do as individuals, we focus on what everybody else is best at, and we want to implement that or emulate that.
Yeah.
We want to do what they're doing. We want to copy that because we see the success. And sometimes our success is not being creative with a camera or with a canvas. It's creative being communicating. Right? It may be you may be gifted at relationships. You may be gifted at showing mercy. You may be gifted at encouragement. You might be gifted in different things. And a lot of times, we get focused on what everybody else is doing, and so we don't even exercise remotely close to the 75% of what we're good at. Right? We're just kind of like
70%.
or 70% that we're good at. Right? And so we get off focus, and so we feel like we're not good at anything. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people, and I'm like, well, what are you good at? I'm not good at nothing.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah,
Like, that's not true.
we've said that all the time. The creator lives inside you, which makes you creative. You are good at something. You have to figure out what you're good at. And I feel like that's what made me talk about this. I'm pretty sure that's what I said, is I wanted to talk about this because I was saying I'm really good at making salsa. Very good. And I believe that God gifted me with that talent. And that talent also, I use that talent for the kingdom by doing fundraisers. And, now I'm able to make an income off of it. Not that I wasn't before, but now, having the food truck and all of that, now I'm able to put that out there. That's what made me think about it, because I'm not good at shirts. I'm okay-ish. But I'm not good. My shirts would be the 25%.
Okay.
And my hot sauce would be the 70%. Or my salsa would be the 70%. My 5% would be organization. I'm not great at it. No, I'm a great organizer, but
that would be your 25%.
would it?
Yeah.
Shirts would be my 5. You're right. That's about right.
No, I think both of those would fit in that.
Really?
Yeah, I think they would both, because you're good at them, but you could improve on them. You always can improve in those areas. That's not that you're not bad in them, but that's right. That's
What
where
would
grow.
you say is my 5%, my weakness?
Your weakness? Mm-hmm. Saying no.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like you have a hard time saying no.
Yeah.
You have a hard time. Marriage mode.
Or counselor mode? Did you
Counselor
just go
mode,
into
marriage
counselor
mode, coach mode, mentor mode, teaching mode.
Tell me.
I think when it comes to weakness, I think the thing that you really struggle with is you struggle with not enabling people. You're really good at enabling people, which is not a strength.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be my weakness.
And that comes from saying no, that comes from not being able to say no.
Okay. So I would say that's what made me think about this topic is doing what you're good at, not doing what you think you're good at. I'm great at doing salsa, even though I don't like it to do it all the time. And now that I'm going to be forced to do it, I left my 8-to-5 job to work for myself 24 hours, right? And I didn't realize how hard that was going to be. But saying all that to say that it made me think about it, because I'm like, well, I'm not good at that, but I am good at making salsa. So I told myself the other day, just stick to making salsa, Mia. Don't make the sandwiches. Don't make the T-shirts. Just make the salsa. You're darn good at it. Just do it.
Yeah, and I think to digress a little bit, I think that's why we have so many people, so many young people, even, older folks, millennials now, that they went to college, spent money, got loans, went to college, and then they find themselves unemployed and unhappy because they're not gifted in what they went to school with. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what they're good at.
They
What
just
did you go to
went for
school?
the
I went
money.
to school because my what do you call those? My school,
career
career
path.
advisor
Yeah.
set this path so I could make X amount of money and
Counselor.
and that's not even what you're good at. You're not even good at that. Like there are certain people that if you need somebody to go talk to them, you don't send that individual because they're not. It's not going to end well,
Yeah.
right? But there's other people like get them to talk to them. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's where we get off track. I think that's where we got off on the where we get off on the church. I think that's where we get off on in society within the church itself. I think we struggle, because when you look at the scriptures, everybody has gifts and talents, but the church celebrates only certain gifts. Like we don't celebrate the toddlers, teachers. We don't celebrate the children's workers that often. Maybe once or twice a year, maybe.
The parking lot
Right,
staff.
the parking lot staff. We don't celebrate the people that
The greeters.
Well, for us, the greeters, the people that are handling the finances, the people that are cleaning the church. So all these people doing announcements, people that are doing the little things, they're not really celebrated because they're not. They're
blue collar jobs.
Yeah, you could call them blue collar jobs. They're not shiny positions, right? So we don't celebrate them, and so we're like, God has something for you to do, and you're like, yeah, I need you to take the trash, clean the toilets, take the trash out. Well, man, where's the glory in that, right? And
That is the glory.
we have created that culture in the church, and so I think that's part of the thing is like, well, I want to do what somebody else is doing, and maybe your gift is just to clean toilets. Right.
I don't know. There are some people that are really, really good at cleaning.
Yeah,
really good, like my kids, for instance. They will bring me. Okay, one. They will bring me their whites.
We know who that is.
They will bring me their whites and say, "Mom, can you make these white again?" Because I'm really good at making whites white. So I should just stick to making things white? No, I'm just kidding. Maybe.
No, but see, now you're enabling them because you're like, this is how you make them white.
I did say that.
I'm just messing
now that
around.
I've had the truck, I did have to say that. I was like, I'm sorry, I do not have time. I will show you how I do it, and you can do it.
Yeah, so
and they did do
see,
it for
you're,
themselves.
You're working on your 5%. So,
Woo!
no, but I think that's part of it is we as individuals we literally that was
Okay.
a long clap. we literally I think as individuals we literally get to a place where we see somebody else's shiny gift or we see somebody else's gift shining. I'll say it that way, and we want to have the same, do the same, experience the same.
And why don't we
and we're
take
not really-
ours like a lantern and polish it?
and we're not really good at it, right? And so I think if you can figure out what you're good at, then the shining and the
Glamour.
the accolades, they'll come with it, because like when we were at Family Worship Center, we had this lady, and she would clean the mess out of the church. Like she would clean it, and I would, being the executive pastor, the associate pastor there, I would rather her clean the church than anybody else because she was good at it. That was her gift. She was talented. She was passionate about it. She shined with that, right? And so I think sometimes we tend to set what we're good at to the side because we don't really think that we're good at it. And I like what you shared, a second ago is that, people will recognize, and the scripture says that your gift and talents will make room for you in the body. So I think just sometimes we get focused on the fact that our talents and our gifts and the things that we're good at, we don't think that we're good at.
That's a good one.
And so we don't really emphasize them. We don't spend our 70% working on them, making them better,
Well, it's what I said. It's what you said last week about my salsa and what I said. I didn't think I was great at it, but what I said before, if you're really good at something, you won't have to tell people. They'll tell you.
Yep.
And people had to tell me that because I wasn't even tasting it. I was just making it. And then I tasted it and was like, wow, this is good, especially now that I like avocados. And I'm just like, this is so good. And I didn't like spice before. And now I do. I think my palate's changing as I become, half a century old.
Older.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, And so now that people tell me that, and I think the reason that made me think of this topic actually wasn't because of the salsa, it was because I didn't like the business side of it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stick to making salsa because I'm not good at business. Because I'm not going to say no to someone that writes me a dirty contract. You know what I mean? Here, I'd like to buy your recipe for $50, okay, type thing.
Yeah.
So.
No, it makes sense. And I think that's good for people to think about. So, you guys are watching, listening, man, I think you guys should really think about, like, what is it that you're good about?
Mm-hmm. What is it that
you're good at?
Yeah.
And pursue that.
Yeah.
And it may
not what you think you're good at.
Not
what people tell you you're good at. If you've been doing something, they're like, man, you're so good at this,
Build on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not, like you said, not what you think that you're good at.
Yeah, because you can think you're good at sewing, or you can sew like me and Franken sew. And you can think that you're good at, what's something I'm not great at?
I don't know, but I'm thinking about this video that I shared with my kids. And it's this guy, it's a coach. He's coaching a little league team, small, right? And he's telling them, he's like, when we step onto that field and we come off of that field, there's going to be a team that wins and there's going to be a team that loses. And if you think that when we get on that field that you're still a winner when we lose, then you're a loser. Because there's winners and losers, and we don't all win. And I think that's where we're at, and I was thinking about that video because a lot of times that's what we do. We placate and we give people what we want them to hear or want them to think, man, you're pretty good at that. You're good, yeah. Instead of telling the truth, like, you probably shouldn't do that again.
But the truth hurts.
It does hurt.
People are not ready for that.
And then you have the other people coming alongside. Don't listen to the haters. Man, sometimes the haters are telling you the truth and you just don't like it.
Yeah.
And that's hard. It's hard truth. But if you think that you're good at it, what was that movie that we watched?
Well, what was it about?
The Gucci. What
was it? Supposed to say that. The House of Gucci.
The House of Gucci.
Don't go watch that.
We're not bound by who we are, anyway, or what we do. So in this movie, I don't know if you haven't seen it. In this movie,
it's the story of Gucci, by the way.
So you had these two cousins, these two sons who were. You had the brothers, but then you had the sons who were cousins, and one didn't want to have anything to do with business, but he was really good at it. The other wanted to be a designer, and he wasn't good at it at all. But that he felt like he was a good designer, and nobody would ever tell him that he wasn't a good designer. And they would just kind of tell him, "Oh, that's nice," or "That's good." And so he would literally thought that he was a good designer, and every time he would present it, everybody would be like, "Bro, this is not good." But they didn't know how to tell him, so they're like beat around the bush. And so the whole time, he thought that he was a creative clothing designer, and nobody ever told him otherwise, And so a lot of times that's how we find we think that we're good at something, and because we can't handle the truth of somebody telling us you're not really good at this, we get our feelings hurt instead of going, okay, well, what am I good at, right? And start looking for what we're good at.
Yeah,
anyway.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a mother, and again, I'm an enabler, so I'm gonna say, my son, when he was little and he was drawing, I didn't tell him his drawings were ugly. I'm not going to tell a child that.
You suck!
There are winners and there are losers.
You need to figure out which one you are.
Because, now he's a graffiti artist and does really well, for himself. And he's just, he doesn't think that himself. But he's really good, and people tell him that. Again, going back to what it said, if you're really good at something, you won't have to tell people, they'll tell you,
Yep.
But if I had told him when he was younger that was crap, he might have stopped,
True.
So, and I think you have the Gucci story wrong, but I'll let somebody tell you. Yeah, because Gucci they're like really way out there now.
I know that, but the one that was doing the designing, he didn't get to design anything. There was nobody in the family because his designs were bad. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, now they use his designs, I think.
No.
No? Okay, I don't know, but I know that some
the movie,
Gucci
obviously.
doesn't look good. So, I don't know, fell asleep. All right. Anyway, I only wanted it for the one
about 3/4 of the movie.
Okay.
That's not what I remember.
Yeah. Anyway, but I just wanted to talk about that because I felt like some people get sidetracked with just what you said, with what they're not good at, instead of doing what they're good at. Just focus on what you're good at and stop doing the 5% over here. Focus on that, what I said before about Solomon. He focused on what he did best. Leaders would be wise to follow the similar pattern called the 70-25-5. And I know you said it different, but again, 70% of your time to your areas of your strength, 25% of your time to the areas you want to improve, and 5% of your time to the areas of your weakness. And it made me think about this, because for many years growing up, people would always tell me, certain people would tell me, I think you should be a radio DJ. Your voice is just perfect for a radio DJ, radio DJ, radio DJ, radio DJ. Never did I become a radio DJ because that just wasn't something I wanted to do, nor do I want to be in front of anybody. So here I am. Radio DJ. No, I'm just kidding. But just saying all that to say that, if I had listened to that, I would have done something and been unhappy with what I was doing and that type of thing. And, just saying all that to say, like, the 5% of our weaknesses that we're supposed to work on, that's how I became the person I am today, is working on those weaknesses. Not every day, but small, itty bitty bites. Yeah. The little 5%. Just giving it a drop in the well or whatever it is. Anyway, just thought this helps. So work on your 70% or work on your 25%. Not the 5%. Don't focus on the little. Focus on what you're good at. That's what I wanted you to take away. Focus on what you're good at.
Cool.
All right. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Follow us on all of our social media. And, hey, let us know you're listening. When we're out there and we're walking around and somebody tells us, you guys are so funny. I like listening to your podcast. I'm like, you listen to us? Blows our minds.
I'm gonna say something. I'm not being mean, but I'm kind of being mean. I said I'm gonna echo what someone said on a post. It says, if you think my music, he was talking about his music. He said, if you think my music's good, don't tell me when you see me. Share it so that people will know.
Oh, so if you think our podcast is good, then share it so people will know
that you like it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was funny. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
I like that. All right. Now, again, we'll see you next week. Cut it out. Peace out.
Thank you for listening to the Riverside Weekly. Download the Riverside Waco app to stay connected and follow us on all social media sites at the Riverside Waco. This podcast is made possible by the givers of Riverside Community Church. Production and engineering provided by Capital G and RTV in Waco, Texas.